Just wanted to talk about self-realization today, just because it is actually quite simple, but because we've taken ourselves to be these individuals, it's a bit hard to grasp. So just thought I'd share how it was seen for me was that what's always been looking through my eyes was actually impersonal awareness, not personal awareness. So what's looking through your eyes is impersonal awareness. So we're just believing in these individual experiences because that's what we're having. We're having an experience of individuality, but actually what's experiencing that experience of individuality is impersonal awareness. So what you are is impersonal awareness, having an experience of being an individual. So it's just to see that we get thoughts appear and we think they're our thoughts. And it's always, even after self-realization, I was trying to get a handle on this, but the mind doesn't get it and it seems to drop in when it's ready to be seen. So life reveals it to itself. Life reveals it to life. So this idea of thoughts were appearing, but they're appearing to impersonal awareness. They're only personalized. And the way they're personalized is if we believe we are an individual. So we pick them up and we have an experience of individuality. I'm not good enough. I don't like that person. I like that person. They don't like me. You know, all of that sort of judging that comes with the individual experience of survival mode, of feeling separate. But actually, those invitations to experience are completely neutral. They're appearing in impersonal awareness, not personal awareness. So they're not personalized. They only become personalized when we decide to have an experience of personalization. Now that's great if you realize that. If you've realized that this experience is actually impersonal awareness experiencing, and then it's not sticky because you're fully aware that it's impersonal awareness experiencing, not an individual. And that's what the self-realization is. I remember saying, I can't believe they called this Colette. So as a child, you know, we get invited into this idea of separation. So we believe our awareness is personal. It gets personalized. It's actually formless awareness, having an experience of form. So it's just how life can experience through these body minds. And that can be very sticky if we believe in this idea of separation, because then we suffer the push and pull. The very, you know, it's a way that life gets to feel experience on a very, get the words out, you know, a contrast. There's a friction, there's a push and pull. It's a very real experience. It's a very dynamic experience. It's a very visceral experience. So it feels very real, which of course it is. It's a real experience, but who's experiencing? Impersonal awareness. So as a child, this impersonal awareness is given a name. And this impersonal awareness is taught separation, subject-object, you and the world. So you're looking out into a world, you're a little thing in the world, and we've got to keep you safe, and you're vulnerable. And yes, the physical body is vulnerable, so you know that's valid. But we're taught that we're only that we're just that individual experiencing. And so those thoughts we feel are our thoughts, are our tickets to experience, are our thoughts, are our beliefs are true. So, you know, the walk back home for me was to look at these beliefs prior to self-realization. Are they true? You know, do people not like me? Or, you know, am I, you know, whatever the thoughts were, you know, are they true? It's absolutely true. I used the work of Byron Katie. But luckily, you know, there's a way of doing it that's actually impersonal, and I happened across that. Life revealed that to me prior to self-realization. I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was able to look from impersonal awareness. I was able to open my focus and see that, to look at them from a space of being. And that is actually your true nature, just that space of being, formless awareness, impersonal. So I did the work of Byron Katie and dropped from my head down into the body and asked the questions from being, but I didn't recognize that that being was my true nature. So I realized that a lot of my thoughts weren't true. But because they'd been experienced by an individual that I thought was an individual, you know, until I looked at them and realized they weren't true, you know, you start to think, hang on a minute, yeah, something's up. Something's not quite as it seems. And there was also that indication that something wasn't quite right. I really don't think we're supposed to suffer this much over, you know, even small things, even conversations that we've had with somebody, or somebody's done something, somebody's, you know, done something against our will, and we're suffering it for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it just didn't seem right. And I can see it's because we believe it was a personal self that suffered. But when you realize it's impersonal awareness, that it's just what's happening, that you're untouched by whatever is happening, you get to play in the world lightly. You get to realize that it's not so serious. You can take things a lot lighter, and you don't take things personally because it's actually impersonal awareness, and that you have a choice. You have a choice to, life has a choice how it wants to dance. So you still, you know, a lot of people get worried about self-realization, that their life's going to change and they're going to be weird and they won't be able to interact with people. But it's all you've ever been. You've always have been impersonal awareness, just having an invitation of separation, just believing that you were personal awareness. That awareness was an individual, but that awareness is impersonal. So that's self-realization, that it's actually an impersonal awareness, having an experience of individuality. It's not a personal self. So you can still have an individual experience. So it's even richer because you get to have an individual experience, but you don't get pulled into the push and pull, the seriousness of it all. And when other people are really deep in the game, you can have compassion for them. You don't get pulled in with them. You don't suffer with them. You get to just allow them to be, allow life to shape and pattern as that experience of individuality. And you don't need to change them. You can allow them to be who they are, to be that experience, and it to be okay. So I hope this pointers to the self-realization will help you to see through your the potential that you could have to see through the experience of individuality. It's actually impersonal awareness experiencing. So you're never touched. What you are is formless awareness, impersonal, having an experience of individuality, but never actually becoming individual. But that's not to deny that you're having an experience of individuality. So I would never deny anybody's experience. Completely understandable, because we've all done it. But it's just to see that in order not to suffer the experience of being an individual, you get to see that actually it's impersonal awareness, that it's formless, that it's untouched by the ever-changing. Doesn't mean it's boring, because the mind will offer up all sorts of ideas, you know. But remember that they're just invitations to experience. But what actually experiences isn't an individual. It's just a mistaken identity. It's just your awareness is impersonal, not personal. So impersonal awareness has an experience of individuality, but it never becomes personal. It's not a personal experience. It's life experiencing through a vehicle. Life gets the dance. And you can experience as an individual, knowing full well that you never become the individual. You're never vulnerable. There is the physical body and mind is vulnerable. The experience is that of vulnerability. So that's why it feels dense. It feels very visceral. So, that can be an advantage. You really get to feel life. You really get to experience life. But once you've realized that you're not actually individual, the suffering is not there. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.